This video is going to show you how to use two formulas to factor polynomials called sum and difference of cubes. This will only work for cubic polynomials that have two terms. What you're going to notice about the formulas here is the first formula has a plus sign to start with and a plus sign to start with in the parentheses here as well. And the second formula has subtraction here and here. If you look at the next sign in each formula, it's always going to be opposite. And then your last one, since the term is squared, is going to be adding. But it didn't mess those formulas up too much. Now, in order to use this, you are going to need to figure out cube roots. There are two ways you can do that in your calculator. You can go to math and then actually take the cube root. In this case, we're going to need the cube root of 25. Or you can use what you know about rational exponents and do 125 to the 1 over 3. Either way, that's going to give us an answer of 5. Now, when using the formulas, you can plug the information right in because the first two numbers are going to be your A and B values, or you can list it out how I'm going to start off this problem with. I'll show you both options. So our A value here, cube root, I'm just going to write underneath this is A cubed minus B cubed. A is just going to be x if you cube rooted x cubed, so think about that. It's already a group of 3, so that the whole thing would come out and equal x. And then the cube root of 125 is equal to 5. Again, you could use a calculator for that. Sometimes I'll only write out 4. Here I'm writing AB since that's part of the formula, so that would just be 5x. You multiply them together. And then we're going to square both. A squared is x squared, and B squared is 25. Now you have everything you need to plug into the formula. I'm going to rewrite the formula down here and just highlight some key pieces of information again about this formula, just to reiterate it. It'll be A minus B. So notice I didn't put a negative sign with any of the B values. I'm just using the subtraction formula, and then it'll be A squared plus AB, and then always plus B squared, no matter which formula that you're using. So, same sign as the original problem. Opposite sign of original. And then the last sign is always positive. Alright, so when we fill into the formula, it's just going to equal x minus 5, because it's the subtraction formula, times x squared plus 5x plus 25. Now you're going to be tempted to want to factor this further, but this formula factors the polynomial completely. So unless you had a GCF to start with, you're good. This is the final answer. That trinomial, although looks factorable, is not. Our next problem is going to have a GCF, so if you flip over to the next page, we're looking at 16x to the 5th plus 54x squared. That will be fixed on your version. Alright, so we're going to take out a 2x squared. That's going to be our GCF. Before you do anything, any of these problems, you do want to take out the GCF if possible, if it's in there. So we're going to take out the 2x squared, divide each term by 2x squared. We'll get 8x cubed plus 27. Both 8 and 27 are perfect cubes. Again, you can check those out in your calculator. I'm going to write this off to the side. If you want to do the A equals, B equals, you can. A is going to be 2x, that's the cube root of 8x cubed. B is going to be 3, cube root of 27. If you want to throw a little AB in this, it's going to be 6x. And then A squared is 4x squared, and B squared is 9. Now you don't have to do this work off to the side, because if you notice when you fill in the formula, now we're going to be using the positive formula because we have a plus sign here. Make sure you keep your GCF out in front, just like we used to do with the GCF. 2x plus 3 is going to be your first parentheses. So that's your a and b value. And then you can do a squared is 4x squared, and then b squared is 9, so we can add 9 onto the end. So you can do that as you're filling it in the formula. Then make sure you always switch the sign in the middle parentheses here, and you can do a times b right from there. 2x times 3 is 6x. So although it's sometimes helpful to write the information out on the side, it's not necessary to do the factoring of these types of problems. So that's sum and difference of cubes with a little GCF thrown into it. Our next video is going to take a look at factoring by grouping, which you will see some of the sum and difference of cubes show up in.